Welcome. The user is his name Campbike. We'll know more about you very soon as well. We have Sarita, Navneeta, Neetu, and Campbike. I'm just starting with the demo for business analysis training. In the agenda, we have a quick round of introduction. We'll cover topic which revolves around what exactly is business analysis, and why should you be a BA? What are the prospects and opportunities for business analysts in current industry? We'll also look at course details at a great length, and we'll have a quick round of question answers at the end. However, if you have any questions in between, feel free to ask me. Just raise your hand or put the question in the chat window. I'll answer it then and there. So let me move to the next page. I wanted to give you, some introduction in terms of educational background, domain expertise, and work experience of mine. My name is Swati. I have done computer engineering from Mumbai University, and I am certified business analysis professional. I have done CBAP through IIBA, which is International Institute of Business Analysis. I have also done postgraduate diploma in international purchasing and supply chain management. I did this primarily out of my interest in purchasing and supply chain management as a domain. However, I have worked on several other domains as well. Another interesting area I found, and which I did my education in, it is about communication and how to do it better. So I did my NLP practitioner from Australia, and I have domain expertise in several domains, including insurance, underwriting, telecom. I worked on government sectors as well. Then a lot of CRM and e-commerce applications are the ones I have worked on, retail, and last but not the least, ERP, and I worked on several modules related to sales and inventory processes of ERP as part of my first job of mine. In terms of work experience, I just want to briefly describe you what I have done. I have over 17 years of experience in IT and business. I started my career as a technical person. I have started working on ERP product called Marshall, and I have started working on customization for ERP products. So that was my first time I started working also as a business analyst, because when it comes to customizing ERP products, one needs to do a lot of analysis around requirements and customer needs and all that. So I worked in the techno-functional area for several years while working with companies, Indian service-oriented companies such as Tech Mahindra, Infosys. Eventually, I started doing contracting with large companies such as Motorola, Genworth Financial, Capital and Auto Finance, and also Singular Wireless. Apart from the big company experiences, I have also worked with various small medium enterprises as well. Again, in the capacity of business analyst, senior business analyst, and I don't know if you are aware of like BPM and BRMS area as such. I can brief you on that as well. I worked in the capacity of BA and BPM consultant for several years. In fact, I am a practicing BA. I do a lot of consulting for my clients, and I work as a trainer. I also work as CBAP and CCBA trainer. And in terms of membership, since I am quite deeply interested in business analysis and continually I learn in the same space. I am a member of International Institute of Business Analysis, IIBA, and there is a lot to learn. Despite you have a lot of experience, there is still a lot to learn. That's how I take the whole area of business analysis. The reason I am highlighting all this to you is no, not because I have done so much just to showcase all that, but for you to to get an insight into what are all the possibilities a business analyst can work into, what are all the roles and responsibilities BA can perform. So that's the reason I am highlighting my experience. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll get started with your individual introduction in terms of your experience, educational background, your interest. So I would like to start with maybe Sarita.
Hi, I'm Sarita, and I did my MBA in 2004-2006 from India, and during my on-job training, I was hired by a company called ICICI Bank for a couple of years. I worked there as a relationship manager. Then I moved to a manufacturing sector called Bharat Forge, wherein I worked as a BDO. And after manufacturing, I moved to a auto sector. I worked for Mercedes-Benz India Private Limited for a couple of years as a BA, associate BA. And then I came to US and I became pregnant and I didn't work for a couple of years again. And right now I got my EAD and I'm trying my hands-on BA training and again getting back to work.
Great. Great to know, Sarita. Thanks a lot. So next is maybe Navneeta. Can you please brief about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, this is Navneeta. I did my chemical engineering in 2008. After that, I worked in Bharat Aluminium Company as a process control engineer, and then I moved to purchasing. It was for 5 years experience, and then I have come here 2 months back to US. So now I just want to continue it. I don't have that much of the IT knowledge or something, so I just want to switch my career. So that's
but you seem to have a good domain expertise. I think, like as process analyst, right?
I have done it. I have done in purchasing field for 4 years, 1 year in process control. So that much I have knowledge. That much.
Okay. Great to know, Navneeta. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think the name, I don't know the name, Colin User 3 and Cam's Bike.
I too don't remember it now after 5 years. Totally into purchasing now. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Cam's Bike. My name is Kamran. So anyways, I'm probably the most least experienced here. I don't have any business experience, but I work for, I have a criminal justice degree. I work for probation. And then now I've been working as a nurse. And I work ICU. And I wanted to do a career shift. My brother-in-law is working in IT, so he told me check out some BA trainings, and you don't really need IT experience. If you have good communication skills, then it helps. Is this thing working? I don't know. Can you guys hear me? No.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I'm calling you. Next. Neetu? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I really don't have that much experience with business and technology besides the fact that I've just been helping out with family business for the last few years. I do have a bachelor's in accounting, and that's about it.
Okay. That's fine. Do we, Anthony, do we have anyone left calling? What is this display ID?
Sorry, that would be Dhaval. Dhaval, can you please introduce yourself?
Dhaval, okay.
Yeah, I'm there on the con call. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi,
I'm
can
Dhaval
you
here. Yeah.
Can you please brief about yourself, please?
Yeah, I have 10 years experience in financial industry, mainly to do with banking, insurance, investments. Pretty new to the IT field. By profession, I have a master's degree and I have a certified financial planner degree also.
Okay.
So I have come to US. Yeah, I've been in US for last 3 months. I'm awaiting my EAD to come. So once I get that, then I'll start working.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. I think we are done with all the introductions. There's just one point I wanted to really highlight, but just to emphasize. As a BA, I have worked in various countries. I have been in the US for quite some time, and I have been working in Australia. I worked in UK as well. So as a BA, it was an interesting learning when it comes to working with in various parts of the globe, and to understand different industries, different communication style, and different processes as well, because every country has different style of working, and in terms of technology also they are at different stages of evolving. So in a way, it helped me with learning the different styles of working and different industries in a better way. So with that, I think I will move on to the next slide. Let's look at what exactly is business analysis in a pure simple way. This is the basics. So when it comes to business, what triggers in our mind? I think the key thoughts that we have are the organization which is serving with some products or services in order to either make profit or as a non-profit. That's, I think, pretty much the definition of business. And any business, in order to thrive in the industry, it has to have people, processes, and as well as systems to work for the betterment of the business. So in that light, I wanted to ask you and kind of have a discussion around what is your idea of the role of a business analysis or business analyst? Can you share your thoughts, please?
Yeah, it's about problem solving. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's about problem solving. It's about analyzing. I mean, finding out the reason. I mean, what's going on. Just regular monitoring and just finding out some solutions for that.
Correct. Very good. Anyone else?
Sarita again. Business analyst is a person who acts as a middle person between the technical people and the stakeholders. Business analysts, they do documentation of the requirement. They gather requirement from the functional or from the stakeholders and give it to the technical people and sit with them and analyze what has to be enhanced in the current system, and they make a process, make them on the system, and they do the testing part. If they come across any errors or any bugs, they're gonna fix them in the current the time frame, and they do the user testing to the user. They give training. They teach how the new process works, and finally they deliver the things to the user and take the sign off. This is what I used to do.
Very good answer. Very good answer, Sarita. Anyone else or anyone else, especially from the non-IT background? I would like to get some answer as to what do you have in mind.
Okay, I think my understanding that it was the basically communication between the company or business, between the business and the IT side, and trying to be the middleman and explain to IT in a way that they can understand what the business wants.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, quite a good answer. So we have a lot of answers already, and in a way they are quite close. I would like to just add some few more points. So when it comes to analysis, what we mean is we gather data and we comprehend the data or information and derive some conclusions out of it, and finally provide our findings and present our findings to the stakeholders. So it is pretty much covering a lot of logic and finding out, as one of us said, there is a problem and there is a solution, and we do analyze the problem and we come up with one or multiple number of solutions, and we present the solutions to the stakeholders. So as such, business analysts may not be really taking the decisions around which solution is the best solution, because that is typically governed by a lot of things such as budget or time constraint or any other stakeholder preferences. So as BA, one needs to provide the solutions at the same time, or rather recommend the solutions and act as a bridge between various stakeholders. So one department can be IT department, the other stakeholders can be domain stakeholders. For example, in case of underwriting or insurance company, I think one of us has worked in ICICI, so may have touched upon some of the underwriting processes. In case of underwriting, we have a lot of various underwriting teams. We have a risk team, and we have some data entry team. So there are a lot of stakeholders involved, even if we consider a simple underwriting process for even a very small organization. So since I have worked on worked with very small organizations as well as very high-end, very process-centric organizations, what I realized is that the problems and solutions are they still exist. The people have similar set of business needs at the very core, and people are looking, the company or organization is looking from a BA for various solutions in terms of technology, in terms of processes, in terms of handling some changes to the organization, when it comes to change management. So an interesting thing, especially for people from non-IT background, is that the problem or which comes out of the business need and the solution may not necessarily be a technical solution. So can anyone just share your thoughts on a non-technical solution? What I mean by that? Any answers, or should I just get started?
Non-technical solutions like.
I mean, what I mean by that is that some of the solutions are system solutions, like we design some system, IT system, and that becomes a solution to the stakeholders. But can there be a solution to a problem or a business need which is not just a technical solution or IT or system solution? This is an important and interesting point about business analysis. That's why I'm emphasizing on this. So, any thoughts on what could be the solution which is a non-system oriented solution? And a business analyst is still involved in the whole analysis process.
Like we can do the thing which I don't know. I think the thing which we can do it we can outsource some outsource some problem. Outsource some kind of activities which we need to do it in this way. Like manpower outsourcing, contract out. Outsourcing type of things like that.
You are saying so certain problem can be addressed by outsourcing solution. That's what you're saying, and that has been suggested by business analysts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, one of the answers. Another answer can be there is a process and which is not working very optimally. So let's say some of the sequences in the steps that are handled in the organization for achieving some goal, the steps are incorrectly sequenced or they are not very optimized. So a business analyst may in fact look into the problem, go to the root cause of the problem, and provide the stakeholders with the suggestion that the sequence needs to be changed, and that will streamline the business better. That way defects can be minimized, and that way the organizational profit can be increased. So are you getting me? So this is like one of the solutions which may not be just an IT or system solution, and still it is serving the organization with cost benefit or some of the operational efficiency, for example. So there are various ways to look at what kind of problems a business analyst can solve and what kind of solutions a business analyst can recommend. So we'll get into all that during the details of the training, of course. Right now we are just covering some of the key concepts, and as one of I think Sarita mentioned that business analyst acts as a bridge or liaison between various stakeholders. So different people in the organization or different teams, they have different ways of expressing their needs, or for example domain subject matter experts, they will have their own language of explaining their needs. For example, the risk team will have their own ways of explaining the rules related to risk, whereas the IT team will have a different notion about technology and what is the best technology, how the architecture will fit in the whole organization structure and all that. So when it comes to a BA role, BA acts as a liaison between one is a domain SMEs and implementation SMEs. Not only that, business analyst can also act as a bridge among various other stakeholders. For example, operations team, risk team, quality team, they may not be interacting very well with each other, although the teams are working very well within their own departments. So when it comes to handling large-scale projects, BA will have to work cognizantly with various teams and handle the communication gaps and the bridge, act as a bridge between various departments of an organization, handling the communication. What do they need? What is their preferred way of expressing the needs? And how will they like the solution to be? So even within the departments, we have various needs. Also at various levels of an organization. For example, senior management will only want to see the highlights of the problem and solution, whereas the detailed technical team, design team will obviously want to know a lot of details about the problems. In detail, what exactly is the problem, what exactly is the requirement, what exactly is the solution, how the web interface will be, how the integration will be. So there are a lot of details as well as high-level views a business analyst will have to look into. So that is one of the area that BA works quite a lot into. And then last but not the least, it is as is versus to be. So this point, I think all of us as well as various organizations, we are operating in the current scenario, and we are also aiming at where exactly we want to go. For example, you are looking to do this BA training in order to get into a better job or land into a better role, for example. So this is like we are working from as is to be. Similarly, various organizations also have their current set of processes and current set of people and the situations and their limitations, constraints to the business. And each organization will strive to become, let's say, a lead in certain industry, or let's say improve their operational efficiency by 20% in the next 1 year. So there are various as is and to be situations while working in any organization. And as a BA, one will have to look at what the organization is seeking to be, and help the organization with becoming that to be state. So is it clear enough that this point on as is and to be?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let me move to the next slide. So we are talking about business, a person who does business analysis. However, in the industry, when you get into various job hunts and looking up for various roles, you will see various job titles for BA. Same role, but the job titles are different. For example, the role can be process analyst. I think one of us said that she worked in as in the capacity of process analyst. Then the role can be BSA, business system analyst. Even a product, in case of product companies, the role can be product manager, product owner. Typically for strategic projects, the role can be business architect, management consultant. So these are various hats BA wears, and at various levels of expertise. For example, as a junior BA, one may be an entry level BSA. Whereas a very experienced or seasoned BA may enter into a project as business architect, for example, or may just join in as management consultant and provide the services for a few weeks and move on. Whereas a company that specializes in product development, there could be roles related to product owner or product manager who works on various features and delivering various new features in various iterations, subsequent iterations. So these are various roles. These are just, for example, there could be any other roles or titles, job titles, which are technically doing the work of business analyst. So you will see a lot of job titles while searching for the job, but they are pretty much the role of business analyst. So let's look at typical artifacts or deliverables by a business analyst. And this one is a sample of process model. It is based on BPMN notation, which is one of the industry standards, just like UML. So a typical process model which has a start, stop, some of the manual steps, and it has some of the automated steps. There are some conditions, and there is an endpoint. And then there are different departments which are represented by a symbol. This is one of the artifacts. It can go very complex, but I'm just giving you some very simple examples. Another artifact can be a flow diagram, which is depending upon the project needs, you may end up developing, such as this one is particularly a policy automation diagram, wherein there are various business rules that a loan application goes through, such as credit risk bureau, credit bureau, scorecard, and then there are various accept rules, decline rules, and eventually the application gets either declined or approved, or it gets referred to for manual underwriting. So this is one of the flows I had created for one of my projects, and this is another good example of BA deliverable. The third one is again, as one of us cited, it is like a specification document. It is not the full document, but what it mentions is the project name, summary, then what is the background issue or problem that is being addressed, or you can call it as a business need. For example, this one states that the the current business rules are in the legacy application, and they are very hard to maintain. And because of the legacy application, there are a lot of inconsistencies in the policy application, and because of that, there are more errors in the underwriting process. So typically, some of the background related to the business need. Why exactly are we initiating the project for? And then it moves into the solution overview. So as I said, we'll always toggle between problem and solutions. So the next point is about solution overview. So I have just taken an expert Excel from the document, business requirement document that I had created for the policy automation project. Another typical artifact you will end up creating as a BA is a user interface. This is not really a document. There are several tools nowadays available which will help you create a web interface or a mockup or UI mockup, whatever it is called. There are many names, but you will end up creating a very detailed mockup diagram, user interface mockup diagram, which you will get reviewed and approved from the stakeholders. I think we talked about review and approval of the specification before when we discussed about business analysis. I think Sarita mentioned about it. So again, this is one of the deliverables, typical deliverables. There are plenty of other things they can do. So I just cited you some of the artifacts of a business analyst. The specification document, mockup, then flow diagram, and process model diagrams based on BPMN notation. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. You, Cameron. So the diagrams that you showed us, are those what you would produce for the companies?
Your voice was breaking a bit. 2 hours?
Oh, sorry. Are you the tools that you showed us, the 4 tools? Now, you created those for specific businesses?
Somehow your voice is not very clear. Anthony, did you hear the question? Or it is me who is not able to hear?
Maybe my phone.
Well, it's breaking out here as well. Could you please repeat it once more?
Once more,
sure. Sure. I was going to ask, the tools that you created, the 4 artifacts that you created, are they for the business? You created those for specific businesses?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And those are just 4 examples. Are there more artifacts that can be, or is it 4 basic artifacts that you use?
These are some of the example artifacts. Of course, these are not at all a full set of business analyst artifacts, but they are typically used artifacts. Just as a BA will, most of the BAs will end up creating a flow diagram or activity diagram, a process model, as I mentioned in one of 4. Typically a flow. What happens? Every organization will have some kind of a workflow that happens within it, right? So as such, we all can visualize a flow. Most of the flows are very simple to understand, and that way it is not really, it does not really require any technical background to create a process model like this. So one of the most frequently used artifact is a process model. Then a specification document. Again, this is a small part of specification document. During the training, we'll cover a very, very detailed overview of system requirement specification, business requirement document, and all that, which will cover many details, more than this, in fact, a problem, solution, scope of the solution, then each and every feature of the solution, then what is the acceptance criteria for the solution, then are there any assumptions or any constraints for the for this project that we are looking at. Are there any assumptions that may, if they change, then that may impact the solution? So there are lots many details that go into a specification document, and this is one of the deliverables of a business analyst. Another typical one I cited is the user interface, because we, whether it is an Android application or it is a web-based application, nowadays we have to have some interface. So as a BA, you either you will end up doing a mock-up, or someone else from your team may work on the mock-up, and you may end up doing the review of the mock-up. Some other BA, for example. But user interfaces are very integral part of business analysis work nowadays, especially when we have a lot of interesting and simpler tools for creating mockups. We don't need a lot of jazzy tools. We have a lot of simple to use tools, and they are really non-technical tools. So as long as you know what kind of information to capture with the help of stakeholders, you should be able to create a user interface requirement document like this. So with this, I will also want you to look at some other skills. These are very important skills, but these are we cannot categorize them as a deliverable. That's why I have cited them in a different slide. So these are very, very essential skills one gets to develop over the time, and more or less, if we already have many of the skills, because we do communicate every now and then. We are all in the living in the world of technology world. So that way we can learn many tools very quickly nowadays. So the other skills are primarily general management when it comes to organizing, coordinating, reporting the status, and interacting with other teams. So that's all about general management skills. Again, related skill is communication. Communication, it can be verbal communication, written communication with various stakeholders. As a BA, you will have to know certain tools and techniques which come as a very handy set of tools for a BA. So we'll get into various techniques for BA during our training. These are just the placeholders for the same. Then solution, as I cited earlier, the solution may not always be a fixing-based solution. So the skill of a BA is to find a root cause of the problem. Many times stakeholders do not express their needs very clearly. I mean, they know there is some problem, something is missing, but they don't know the exact root cause. So as a BA, one needs to help them find a solution to a problem, and then get a buy-in for the solution from the same stakeholders, because it is the stakeholders who will eventually be approving the solution. So they are the ones who will be accepting the solution, and they are the ones who will be using the solution. So you always have to think on the lines of solution and the root cause of the problem. So have that in your mind right away at the beginning of the training itself. Then domain knowledge, yes, domain knowledge. It is very interesting question whether for a BA role the entire set of domain knowledge is essential or mandatory or not. So the answer is very tricky. Some of the job specs may require certain domain knowledge at a 90%, for example. But most of the BA roles will be okay if you have a good business analysis skill set. For example, other skills, general management, communication, if you are aware of the tools and techniques, if you have that problem solving approach, if you are well aware of technology and detail orientation, then I think domain knowledge is something you can learn, but it is your responsibility if you are getting into a new domain altogether. For example, if you have worked in let's say finance domain all several years, and you end up working in a travel domain for a new project in an organization, then you at least will need to wear that quick learning hat, whereby you can learn the new domain very, very quickly. So that is still an essential skill, but it is not really a mandatory for many projects. So I think that should be a good relieving fact for you. For example, I worked on another business, one of the business rules management systems project, for which the main skills required were BA skills and business rules related skills. And the insurance or the insurance domain knowledge as such was a little bit secondary. It was not that it was not important, but I was also ready to learn the new domain very quickly, and it was okay for my manager that I had a very good set of BA skills and I had a very detailed knowledge about business rules. That was the main requirement for the job. So that's how I fitted into the job. And in couple of 1 or 2 weeks, I had to very quickly learn the domain side of the project. Technology, yes, again, IT technology is something. It is good if you have the background knowledge of it, I must say, because it helps you with the with bridging between the stakeholders and the IT department. At the same time, it is some of the fundamentals of that related to technology, such as architecture and the current set of technologies. When it comes to interacting with the implementation subject matter experts, it is not really that difficult to learn new technology. I would say, any questions? No. So I would say technology is a good skill to have. I'm sure most of us are quite well savvy with technology nowadays. And specific technologies such as, for example, J2E and .NET and all that. As a BA, you don't have to really be bogged down by all that detail. Sometimes it happens that, okay, this is a technology, we have new technology. People do talk about technology. At the same time, as a BA, you have to be very clear what are your boundaries, and you can always seek help from the the implementation subject matter expert when it if you need some input. So it is good to have some readiness for learning new technology. It always helps. So that is again a skill of a business analyst, typically IT business analyst skill. And detail orientation, of course, because as a BA, until the level of business requirement, understanding the business requirement, you are still at a high level. But when it comes to implementing the project or implementing a particular solution, one has to go into details of what the process is, what the steps are, what the data is, what are the integration points, for example, what is the validation for each and every data element. So these are just some examples. So as such, you have to have readiness to learn the details of the solution. At the same time, you should be able to switch back to the main business need, where it all comes from, like why we are doing all this. That should be very clear in your mind. So it is a skill of having detail orientation as well as ability to see the big things or a big picture. Now we want to touch upon some of the problems that a project can incur when a project does not have a good BA. So these are let me just go over these and we'll have a quick discussion around it. So typically, without a BA, the requirements or the specifications for the business need are not very clear, and that leads to a lot of gaps between business and technical teams. Many times the requirements are understood reasonably well by different teams, but they are not documented well. So even if there is insufficient documentation, that is also a big problem, because nobody gets to have a common view of the problem and the solution. What everyone is doing on the team, it gets completely unclear. Insufficient documentation, and eventually, if all these things are existing, like the requirements are not clear, there are gaps between various teams, eventually what happens is that the solution is not testable or acceptable, because stakeholders cannot accept it. They may say that this is not something what we needed. simple, and then the whole project can get scrapped. So it is it is really a good thing to have a good BA on a team. Do you have any experience to share when it comes to projects without BA, or do you have any ideas to share?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we were working in a project, but we had a PMC team, planning, monitoring, and controlling team. Is that a type of business analyst, I think? I think it's a kind of business, but they are actually...
Yes, you were working in a, you were analyzing business, right?
It was in a project which I was working. There were people were in the team planning, monitoring, and control. So they used to take our plans, used to monitor it, and they used to just control it. So is it? I mean, I think it's a kind of business analyst, right? They only take
if you are planning and using and controlling, continuously monitoring certain processes, it is a business analysis. But I'm not sure about, my question is that did you have sufficient documentation around, let's say, how the process should be, how the process should be executed, how for example, certain equipment should be operated, like operations manual, for example. Was that there?
Yeah, they did have that, but that was actually a PM project manager that have done it. I think the Accenture people, they have done it. I think that is also a kind of business analysis, I think, right?
Yes, business analysts can certainly work in the capacity of creating guidelines or operational procedures. And these are in a way requirement documentation, right? Of course, we are not talking about here IT implementation as such, but it is still a requirement document, and that maybe in your project manager was acting in the capacity of business analyst at that point, right? That's how he created those process documentation.
Yeah.
So perhaps in your project the documentation was reasonably good. However, I have seen some of the projects wherein I came little late, but before that prior to that there was no documentation at all. And how the current system operates, how the current processes are being executed. For example, I worked on an embedded system project previously in UK. In that, there was no documentation around the existing, whatever they had their core processes which will be run on the embedded system. So those flash processes. It was way back in 1999. But the documentation was absolutely zero. It was not even minimal. And with that, there was a huge chaos, because whenever there used to come a new change to the feature, any of the features of the embedded system, nobody had any idea what are all the files to change, what are all the impact it can have on the other parts of the process or other parts of the application. So because of that, the project without BA was complete. It was a complete mess. So we worked on the project for 3 months and created an entire detailed as-is documentation first, because without as-is documentation, it was not possible for the organization to move to the next stage, which is the to-be stage. Obviously, they wanted to have certain enhanced features and all that. But before that, there is no existing documentation, and that was the main problem area for the organization. So, that's how BA can really be influential in getting the clarity across the board. By writing good documentation, by clarifying a lot of processes and functionalities. And eventually at the end of 3 months, the existing documentation about the application was ready. In the next 3 months, we worked on various new features which were tested by the stakeholders. So eventually the solution was testable. But we are talking about projects. What can happen without a good BA on a team or good set of BAs? Like in this project, we were 3 of us who were acting as a analysts, and the documentation that we created at the end of the project, it was a full detailed documentation that helped the stakeholders getting a lot of clarity around the problem and the the solution. Solution in the sense the current application, how it is functioning. So these are other aspects of projects without BA that I wanted to highlight to you. These are I have taken these from LinkedIn. IAG Business Analysis Benchmark is the source. So I'm just reading those out for you. 70% of the projects they fail as a result of poor requirements. A lot of time and cost is paid because of not so good quality of requirements. I think we talked. One of us spoke about gathering the requirements. There is a little bit better word for it. It's about eliciting the requirements from the stakeholders. So if the requirements are not elicited in a quality manner, it can lead to huge cost and time overruns for a project. Again, not to mention, it can all lead to several defects after delivery, and after delivery, whatever defects that arise, they can really add to cost because the application is already in the production. Then a lot of companies have they don't have the requirement management practices or processes set up. That is one of the reasons why various projects fail. Then there is because of non-quality requirement related documentation, there can be a lot of rework. Then again we spoke about budget overrun and simply necessary competency. So we'll talk about requirement management processes as well in our training. It's about planning and monitoring of the requirement related aspects of a project. So maybe at the junior level or entry level BA positions, you may not need to actively work on it, but it is good to have knowledge of all these areas that we'll cover during our training. So now that we have looked at projects without BA, what can happen in that case? Let's look at some of the positive sides of work as a business analyst. I'm sure you already have some things in your mind. That's why you are attending this demo, and you are also planning on learning all the tools and technologies related to business analysis. Let me highlight some of the interesting things. Again, as a BA, you really get to work on problem solving. If you really love to solve problems and with better ideas, and it is not that it is a complete analysis role or data and fact finding and recommendation. It has a lot of creativity also embedded in the work. So as a BA, you are very likely to work on generating innovative ideas and providing better solutions to the customer or stakeholders. Second point, it can be the first point as well, because sometimes passion can come later, but the money should come first. But as a BA, I can assure you that the money is certainly very good. Let's quickly look at all these points, and I wanted to show you one quick survey on Indeed.com when it comes to salary for BA role. So other aspects of that are very rewarding aspects of BA role are as a BA you will get to communicate and act as a bridge between various people. So you will get to learn a lot about better communication and handling conflicts as well. It is not that bad because usually people can get cooperative when you communicate well and in a calm manner, even in case of conflicts. Then you get to build on a lot of business experience. It can be in certain domain or it can be in various domains. For example, I got the chance to work on various at least 3-4 key domains, and I enjoyed working on all of them because in real life also I get to apply a lot of concepts from the business that I learned as part of BA role. It can be manufacturing, it can be supply chain, logistics, it can be insurance, it can be also be accounting, it can be sales, ordering, our e-commerce. Nowadays we have everything in, we do a lot of purchases. Most of the purchases we do online only nowadays. So a lot of e-commerce applications are in. So you will get to learn a lot about business and applications related to business. Another thing, if you want to, obviously you can continually learn to make an impact over certain set of stakeholders, and eventually to form a better community. This is more of a very rewarding kind of thing, it may sound, but eventually by creating better products or better services, you are helping people across the maybe all the users across the organization to do their job better. So it is in a way a very rewarding role. It is very interesting to be able to see as a BA a big picture as well as the details, because you don't lose sight on the big picture as well as get to see a lot of details about the application or processes and people. So I find it very interesting, and I'm sure you are also quite keen on learning all these and building upon it. And to build timeless skills, this is something I think one of us stated that she has taken some break due to personal reasons, and now she's planning to come back. Was that Sarita or Neetu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a BA, it is one of the roles. It does not really get obsolete, because you just have to learn some of the key things and refresh your business knowledge to come back to the industry even after some break. For example, it is not that difficult as other roles may be. For example, certain technical roles, it may need a lot of refreshing, but as a BA, if you have the basic skills in place, you can come back and come back to the industry as well. I mean, this is more of a fringe benefit, but I still wanted to highlight it. Now let's look at money. I have just picked up this Indeed salary. I just ran the survey over here. Let me run it again for you. As a business analyst, view salary, Indeed.com, US specific jobs. So average salary of jobs, although it is stated to be 88K, it can go in the range of starting with 60K up to a very high number as well, up to 135K as well when it comes to some of the very high end BA roles. So this is a very recent survey, if you see, until April 14th. Which is just the last month. You can do again independent. You can again independently run similar kind of survey on various job portals later on. But let's look at average salary of jobs related to various titles. Again, all these are business analyst roles, but the titles are different. So business unit, business optimization analyst. This is not exactly a BA role. But brokerage, for example, a domain-specific BA role. This is 112K. Technology business analyst. Now, some of the roles are stated as technical business analyst, and that may know a little bit of more technical component than others. For example, in case of integration projects, you may have to do a lot more technical work than other BA roles. So that is stated as a technical BA role. Then there are some tool-specific BA roles such as Salesforce or SAP. So the salary range is quite good, and as you gain more experience, it will only go higher. And another thing to state is as an independent contractor, for example, if you are working in the US as a contractor, the range can you can very well get a very good daily rate by which you can go up to in the range of 300K as well. As an independent contractor, of course, that may take a while to reach that stage, but those salaries and contracting rates are also possible This survey is specific to employment, hence it is mentioning only of salaried people. So overall, the job market as well as job market has been quite stable for BA role, and money also has been reasonably and sometimes very good as well. So let me move to the next slide, which is related to our the opportunities for BA role. Let's take a quick industry fact and standards look. In international, IIBA held this meeting, and the members. I'm sorry, I want to talk about the next slide. The career roadmap from as stated in IIBA website. Canadian employers will need around 171K BA business analyst related professionals in the next 2 years. And American employers will need again a very huge number of BA roles professionals by 2020. Again, this is a very reliable source, and the number is quite promising and encouraging for anyone who is seeking to be in a BA role, because it is in the next at least next 6 to 10 years we will certainly have a good market for a BA role, if not until very late, because I have been working in capacity of BA for not all the 17 years, but I would say 14-15 years I've been working as in the capacity of BA role. My title might have been programmer analyst in some of the projects, but the role has been there because there is always a need for a BA. So there are plenty of opportunities you will get to work as a BA. And let me now go on to the previous slide. Sorry, I moved to the next slide by mistake. Just a number when it comes to members of IIBA. IIBA is again this is a organization which promotes business analysis and the way in which the structured business analysis can happen. It has lots of members by now, 27K. There are in 110 countries we have various chapters of IIBA. And there are several CBAP and CCBA recipients until now. So just the number of CBAP recipients is 3,000, in the range of 3,000 so far, and CCBA competency goes in about up to 430, which is also a good number as of now. There are other people, other organizations also who do a lot of dedicated work in business analysis profession. One of them is BrainBench. Even now, PMI is also coming up with business analysis related foundation work. Let me move on to the next slide on this note. Now, how our course will be designed. This is again a very important part of our discussion today. This course is not going to be a theoretical course for sure. I personally am a practicing BA, and I would like you to, after getting some insightful concepts and learning some concepts and tools, I would like you to work on various insightful assignments on the key tools of a BA. So it will be completely job oriented. It will have assignments and reviews of the assignment and work, a lot of question answer sessions. So let's have it more and more interactive, because that is very beneficial to not only just one of you, but for each of us, because when one person raises the question, all of us get to learn. And the last thing about the course, which is very important, is we will prepare you well for the job hunt as well as landing in a right job. The preparation will cover resume preparation, then some of the mock-ups and interview related guidance. So with that, again, we are coming back to prerequisites. We don't have any prerequisites around IT, mandatory IT background as such. All the tools that we'll be learning will be very simple to learn and very simple to use, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. And there is no mandatory domain specific experience as well. We are open to learn very new domains, as many as we can. So no domain specific experience, no IT background. All we'll need is a good learning hat, and even still I would want you to ask questions, because as a BA one of the important things you will do to ask right questions to the stakeholders. So I would like you to start practicing the same thing even during our course. If you get stuck or if you have any doubt in your mind, just ask the question and we'll get it sorted out either then and there or through our web portal, which is 24/7, as Anthony mentioned. So we'll have all the answers provided. Nothing will be left open at the end of the course. With this, I wanted you to look at the course details. We'll look at the modules very quickly. We'll look at what is business analysis, various types of requirements, and roles and responsibilities of a BA role. We'll look at various levels of business analysis, various details that can happen, and typical deliverables. Now this will be a very detailed view. We will cover various deliverables of a BA role. Then every time we will also touch upon product development perspective, because we may end up working on a project which is a specific set of work, or we as a BA we may end up working on products as well. So let's not lose that focus during our training. Then requirement elicitation, we'll cover. This is one of the very important topics. We'll look at various steps in requirement elicitation, key techniques of elicitation. We'll also look at in module 4 BA role in implementation of the solution, like validation of the solution and performance measurement, like post deployment work, I will say. Then this is one of the very important areas, key tools and techniques for a BA. These tools are not really the software tools. We are talking about the tools that come handy for BA roles, so like use cases and business process modeling, PR diagrams, state diagrams, activity diagrams, user stories. Maybe some of you have already come across these concepts before, but we'll still look into each and every aspect in detail. So we'll cover a lot of tech tools and techniques. Then we'll look at how to write good requirements and typical characteristics of requirement quality. As a BA, you will want to adhere to requirement quality every now and then. So I would like you to have that in your practice or daily work. Then we'll look at change management aspects of when it comes to BA role. In module 8, we will cover stakeholder analysis and management, a lot of details around how to analyze stakeholders, how to describe the stakeholder roles and responsibilities. And we'll look at requirement management plan as well. This is more of a planning side of a BA role, but it is important to know, as I mentioned earlier. We'll look at a little bit of IIBA and overview of BABOK. However, it is not really a mandatory thing for our work, because our course will be job oriented. In module 11 and module 12, we'll cover additional tools which are software application tools, and we'll look at the templates. I will also provide you with various templates which you can use in your day-to-day job. So, for example, business requirement document, use case template, change request template. There are plenty of other templates which I will share with you at the end of the course. And every now and then we will have assignments. So I just mentioned that as a placeholder in module 13. And module 14 is all about resume preparation. interview guidance and some mock-up interviews with you all. So that's it for now. Any questions? Feel free to ask.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, Navneeta?
As a business analyst, what do you feel is the most difficult, hardest part? I mean, what do you exactly need to? I mean, what is the most difficult part? I mean, like.
Okay. Most difficult part, that is a very good question. I have personally found that most difficult part is to manage the change when it comes to a lot of documentation or changes to the requirements. Because as a BA, you will certainly work very well on creating the specification documents and creating the solution and all that. But we live in a very changing world, right? Everything is changing every now and then. So that way, many stakeholders will come up with many changes to you all the time. Why don't you do this change? Why don't you incorporate this change? So as a BA, you really have to manage the changes in a methodical way through the tools. Like we will have some tools such as traceability tools. We'll discuss all that. But it is just one of the tools. When it comes to a BA role, we have to be adept with the changes, because we cannot stop the stakeholders from from the changes. Everything about business will keep on changing. And as a BA, you will have to keep the documentation latest. You will have to keep everybody informed about the changes, and you will have to get the approvals in time or on time. So I think that is not really the only tough part, but this is one of the toughest part because people don't like change sometimes or many times. Depending upon their own resistance, their resistance to the change. So you may face resistance, and that is more of a situational conflict you will have to handle. So it's not about the documentation, or it's not about the using or creating a mock-up. But it's all about handling the changes, and I think in all those situations, particularly those situations, you will some of the behavioral skills we will refresh during our training, refresh upon. Those are like how to handle the conflicts, how to state the information in a clear and precise and ethical way. See, even during the change, you cannot say that you cannot just bypass the information, because stakeholders are trusting you as a BA for some solution, right? So that way it becomes even more important that you handle the conflicts or issues in a calm manner, and you handle the changes in a methodical manner. For example, by using some change tracker, there are some templates that I will share with you. So those will help you or enable you to handle the changes better. So those will come as a handy tool for you, but still, when it comes to facing the situation, it is a little bit tough situation, because stakeholders may be resistant with the changes, or some of them may not approve the changes, and they will still want the solution to be delivered. So in that case, what will you do? So these are the things that come as a challenge when it comes to BA. So very good question, in fact. Yeah.
Okay. It's about it's kind of reporting kind of thing, right? I mean, it's kind of reporting.
Yes, I mean, as a BA, yes, you will have to report about the status or changes or the requirements to various stakeholders. So, for example, in the project that I worked for Motorola, I used to report the status, weekly status of BA activities to all the stakeholders. So it is, in a way, it is reporting, right? If there is anything missing or if there is anything to be added, stakeholders will have to revert to you and say that, okay, this is missing, or you just have to add this, or something like that. So reporting helps. So as a BA, it is a general management practice which you will have to learn, and it covers reporting as well. Yes, status reporting basically.
Okay, and is there some kind of expertise? I mean, here we as a, I mean, in a layman language, we need to coordinate. Is there kind of expertise? I mean, kind of things which we do. I mean, like you know, people who are trained in kind of different, like SAP or something. We are not the just the coordinator between these two people. So
yes,
is there some kind of expertise like?
Expertise, yeah. I mean, when it comes to coordination, the expertise is something which you will learn by coordinating better, and once you understand the team better, you will start coordinating better as well. But bottom line about coordination is that the two people, two teams which are looking to be coordinated, you act as again a bridge between them. So you keep them all informed, you keep them all on the same page by coordinating well. So coordinating can be about the status, coordinating can be about meetings, it can be about preparation for the meeting, creating the agenda for the meeting. Coordination can be about post-meeting notes. So I think you are talking about all that as well, right? So yeah. So while you are having requirement elicitation sessions, we discussed about that as part of our course detail. You will end up doing a lot of coordination around and scheduling around the elicitation meeting. So a lot of preparation during the meeting notes and post-meeting coordination when it comes to sending out the notes and the decisions made and all that. I also have several templates for, as I mentioned, several templates for various coordination activities as well.
Okay.
So those also you will get to use as a handy tool. You may end up customizing some of the templates because not all the templates may serve all the projects in the same way. So you can use that as a base. For example, meeting notes template, you can use that as a base and maybe modify it a bit for your project. You can use the change tracker template from which I will give it to you, and then you can again customize it for your own use. Okay. You can use the requirement specification document that I will give to you, and you can perhaps add or delete some of the things which you think are not necessary for the project or which you need to add for the project. So these will act as a kind of a toolkit for you when you go on the job. You won't be completely kind of in like a bit gray area like where to start. So you will have a good starting point in the job while doing the job.
Okay. And one more thing, is there some kind of in this course, will you be providing some kind of IT background, IT knowledge and business knowledge about law or something, business law?
Business law as such I won't be covering, but I will be covering the basic fundamentals about IT, and I will cover some of the examples or case studies. I will have you run through the case studies, which will give you some of the insights into various domains. For example, one case study from order management system, one case study from underwriting, one case study from let's say logistics process, and some of the standard ones I can cover, HR processes, right? So those will help you with the modeling or understanding the steps involved in a workflow, for example. So I think those will help you. Case studies will help you. Those will be at least we can pick up some 4 or 5 domain specific case studies that will give you insight into the data and the typical steps or processes involved in the in that particular domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question, Sarita, and after we take this training and do our interviews, mock interviews, update our resume, we get through a job, and then we enter the job, the position, we got BA. What are the first thing we should do when we enter the company after this training, and at least for a week? How to start up, how to have a quick start, because I'm new to this US, scene of industry, so that is what I have a question about.
Yeah, no, quite a good question, because the first thing that will make the best or one of the lasting impact. So the question is very valid. Just before joining the job, I would say you refresh all the knowledge from the course and have the templates that I will provide you ready or handy for you. Just as a memory recall. And when you actually just start with the job, just try and understand where exactly the organization is at the moment. Like, and try and understand the team. Try and understand the business needs, current business needs of the organization. I'm sure when you go on the job, you will have somebody whom you will report to, right? So that person will be your first point of contact. Let's say your project manager, your program manager, or your product manager. So he will be the source of details for you, but what detail you need to ask for is typically organizational structure, your documentation about current products or processes, and he may directly involve you into project documentation right away. So sometimes you may not have to do a lot of proactive work, because the team may already be very welcoming and they will share with you very enthusiastically all the current state of the organization and the project. But it may happen that as a BA you will be expected to be proactive. I faced it earlier in my earlier days that I was a little bit hesitant, like that was way back when I worked on this embedded systems project. And in fact, the organization was very welcoming to questions. Sometimes the questions can be very simple and basic, but people like you as a BA if you go out of your way, get up and meet people, just handshake and start doing some team building things. That really helps in the initial few days. And as a proactive BA, you will also prove that you want to know the current state of the business, and you want to, if you have some free time. Typically, the project does not start immediately when you join a job. So you usually get 1 or 2 weeks, right, before you speed up with the work. So ask for documentation, ask for some informal meetings, try and have some informal dialogue with your manager and various team members. So understand where exactly we are in terms of the project. Then you will eventually start knowing about what is the scope of the current work and what will be your role. Another thing, in your first week, if you can find out, okay, BA, you have joined in as a BA, maybe junior BA, senior BA, mid-tier BA. But what exactly is your role and responsibility in that project? If it is clearly jotted out already, it really eases out your work.
Okay.
Because so if you can eventually find out, just in few days, find out what are the expectations from your role or you. It will help you meet the expectations better.
Right.
And some organizations really have a very, very beautifully described roles and responsibility chart. Not just you, but who will be the domain SME, who will be the project manager, who will be the technical person, who will be BA, who will be the lead BA. So that will be beautifully crafted already by some other team members. But some organizations may not be that mature when it comes to planning ahead for all these things. So as a BA, you should get up and start knowing all these details proactively if they are not provided to you. So this will help in first 2 weeks. This is pretty much you can do to get comfortable in the job.
Alright.
Any other questions?
Yes, actually, this is Cameron. I was going to ask if my background in healthcare, does that help me in using that to healthcare companies? And how would they use BA in a healthcare environment?
Yes. Sorry, Cameron, your voice is still breaking. Let me see if the question is correct. I have got the question correct. You are saying you are from the healthcare domain. I mean the healthcare background. So will that help you in grooming into BA role? Is that the question?
Yes, that's exactly enough. And also for healthcare organizations.
Healthcare domain is quite a good domain, and it is one of the domain that has been there, and it was even in the downtime it was never really affected because of the health and medical aspects of it. So I think if you have the domain knowledge of it already, it is a very good thing to have. And if you build upon the BA skills through this course, it will help you enable getting into a project which is about let's say IT implementation or implementation in a healthcare domain. So you can act as a BA for healthcare domain to begin with, because you already have that experience. However, there are just the only thing is that if you, in case if you don't get into this specific domain, then I would suggest if you are open for other domains, it will help. Open to learn about other domains. I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Is that all? Any other question? Okay, I guess if not, then I think Anthony, I would like you to take over for the next steps, and I would like to thank you all for joining this demo, and it was really a great pleasure to explain you all with the course content and the background for this course design and